Hey guys, Jexie here. Welcome back to another video. So in today's video, I want to talk to you a little bit about why I think addicts are struggling so much with this quarantine. Okay, so obviously, besides all like the normal reasons why somebody would be struggling with this quarantine, I mean, the idea that we can't go anywhere, that, lives are disrupted, people lost their jobs, right? Like, obviously, all that stuff's there, right? But there's something specifically that addicts are going through that other people don't probably can't really relate to. And the fact is that for a lot of us, we've been here before. So a lot of addicts have been used to self-isolating, right? I can speak for myself, I guess, when I would use, like, I very often stayed home. I stayed by myself. I didn't go out anywhere. I didn't do anything, like, unless I had to. But, like, my happy place to be was, like, in my room by myself, doing nothing, talking to nobody, not letting anybody know what was going on. And so I think for a lot of us, and I've talked to others who feel this way, that like the current situation we're in feels like active addiction without the using. And that's scary, right? Like we talk about triggers in recovery all the time, right? And we're always like, avoid people, places, and things. Avoid things that trigger you, avoid things that make you feel like using, right? But that isolating, alone feeling where you have no human contact and you're by yourself is very triggering, and there's nothing we can do right now to avoid that. Now, don't get me wrong, there's plenty we can do still for recovery. If you saw my last video, like there's a lot of ways in which we can still be active in our recovery in this situation, right? So I'm not saying like all hope is lost, but I'm more worried about people who have recovery time like I do, as opposed to the newcomer, right? Anybody who's new in recovery, who's just getting their first taste of recovery, this isn't going to feel so drastically different, right? Like if you don't have any experience with something and your first experience with meetings or online meetings, virtual NA, recovery programs via, Zoom or Discord or whatever, if that's what you're first introduced to, you're going to find it very helpful. I know a lot of people whose first introduction to meetings is online meetings and they love it. And then they get to start going to in-person meetings and they kind of get to know that. So I'm not so worried about the newcomer. When this all started, there was a lot of talk of like, oh, the newcomer, how are we supposed to carry the message? It's like, look, we're always able to carry the message, right? Like, even if we can't meet in person, we can still carry the message. Not to say I don't care about the newcomer, but they're not the demographic of addicts that worry me. The demographic of addicts that worry me are people like me, people who have some time, people who've gotten complacent in their recovery programs, people who threw a fit when they could no longer meet in person. Because there were a lot of us in recovery, and well, I don't want to include myself in that because I didn't throw a fit like some people did, but I saw grown men throw fits over the fact that they could not go to a meeting in person, right? And these are people with time. Those are the people I worry about. I see it on their faces, right? Like I can see this virtual NA thing wearing on them. Now add into that the maybe losing a job, maybe not being able to go out and do your normal stuff. Maybe your entertainment is different, right? We're the ones in trouble. The people who have some clean time are the ones in trouble. So if you're a newcomer in recovery, you have an opportunity to be supportive to somebody who maybe's been supportive to you, right? Like if we need to be reaching out to each other, because the fact is that this is not easy on anybody. And there's a few people I know in long-term recovery that I'm very worried about. And I'm not keeping myself out of that. I've talked to a lot of recovering addicts, and many of us have said the same thing. I've never been as triggered as I am in this situation. Now I'm lucky and I can recognize that and I'm okay. Like I'm not going to go out and use tomorrow. I'm fine. But I've talked to a lot of addicts with some significant clean time who have said that they have felt like using, that they feel, they're having drug dreams for the first time in a long time, that they're feeling icky. And why is that? What is it about this? And as I said, the reason I think it's like that has to do with the fact is many of us, again, are experiencing life like we did during active addiction. Like many of us sat on our beds and watched Netflix when we were using, right? Like, or sat and played video games while we were using. Like, that was a common thing. And now we're being told to do just that. Many of us lost jobs because of active addiction, or friends from active addiction. And now a lot of people are friendless because, and well, they're not friendless, can't see their friends as much, or jobless, right? And they're not using. And so I think a lot of it is, it's almost like how people with PTSD, this is not PTSD, that's not what I'm saying, don't twist me, but how people with PTSD, sometimes they don't realize that they have an issue until they're in a similar situation, right? And then it triggers them. I think it's the same idea. I think a lot of us are being put into a situation that is triggering us that we did not anticipate to be such a trigger. So look, my last video, and I'll put it up in the card. I think it's this side. Yeah, it's definitely this side. I'll put it up in the card, my last video, where I talked about some ways in which we can still be active in recovery when all goes to hell, right? Because the fact is that we are in a technological age where we have a lot of options. So, don't give up. Reach out. I respond. I've got lots of time now. So I'm responding to everybody that reaches out, whether it be through YouTube, on my Discord. Right now my Discord's not super active, but I check it every day. I'm on there every day. Same with Twitter, Instagram. If you need to reach out to somebody, reach out to me. I guarantee you that I will answer you. We all need someone to have support. And if you know somebody in recovery, even if it's somebody who's got some sort of clean time, don't be afraid to reach out and check in with them, because this is really one of those times where, like, nobody's immune to how they're feeling. And there's a lot of people who need that extra support who may not feel comfortable asking for it because they have time. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you got something out of it. YouTube's been a little crazy with nobody working there, so live streams have been up in the air. But anyway, I love you all. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye, guys.